I'm Emily Thomas, and this is the early review of the 2024 Hyundai Kona EV. We bought the 2024 Hyundai Kona Electric SEL with no additional packages. However, we did get the carpeted floor mats, cargo tray, and mudguards. With a destination price of $1,335, our grand total was $38,460. The Kona Electric, or the Kona EV as we've been calling it, is a small SUV. It competes with the Chevrolet Bolt EUV, Nissan Leaf, and its sister vehicle, the Kia Niro EV. So think of it more as like an entry-level electric vehicle. This is the second generation of the Kona. It has updated angular styling, which matches other new Hyundais that we've tested. This Kona is 1 inch higher and wider, and it's 7.5 inches longer, which gives you more interior and cargo space. Hyundai says that they designed this generation of the Kona as an EV first, but we can get into more of that later. If you're interested, there is also a gas model available. So with an EV, you're going to care about the driving range. This long-range Kona EV comes with a 64.8 kilowatt battery and produces 201 horsepower. In terms of charging times, if you're using a public DC fast charger, Hyundai claims the Kona EV can replenish the battery from 10% to 80% in 43 minutes. And according to the EPA, their estimate is that you get 261 miles driving range on a full charge. That's an estimate, so we're going to test it ourselves in our exclusive 70-mile-per-hour highway EV range test. It's kind of nice that the charge port is right here in the front of the vehicle. So you could just pull right into the spot that you need, and you don't have to worry about backing up, worrying about which side the charge port is on. It's just right here in front. If you don't get to 100% charge and you want to disconnect the charging cable, you might find that it's really hard to. And there's a little bit of a game you have to play with locking and unlocking the vehicle in order to get the charging cable to unlock. Thankfully, you can change those settings in the infotainment system. Like many other EVs, the Kona supports one-pedal driving. Many of our testers found it to be consistent, and it's nice because the regen pedals are right behind the steering wheel, so you can customize it to the level that you want. I mentioned before that this is an entry-level EV. That's partially because of the price point, which at $38,000 you might disagree. However, in EV terms, that's actually on the lower end. It's also entry-level because it's based on an entry-level SUV, the Kona. I kind of like to think of this as a learner EV. When you first get inside, it doesn't feel really futuristic. You find buttons and knobs and things in expected places, except for this gear shift, which we'll get into later. In terms of fit and finish, you kind of get that entry-level feel. There's cloth seats and lots of hard plastic. The upper dash does have some nice texturing, and the armrests are pretty hard for the driver. The seats are a little firm, but comfortable enough, and the seat backs have nice bolstering that kind of holds you in laterally. It's also nice that this Kona does have heated front seats. The rear seat is pretty flat, which is great for me when I have to install my kids' car seats. In the previous generation Kona, it was really hard for us to fit our rear-facing car seat behind the driver. This time around, behind the driver was fine, even for my husband who has to push his seat further back. Front visibility is actually pretty good. The A-pillars are not too thick. Rear visibility is also good. I personally like when I can see the full width of the rear windshield in the rearview mirror, which I can here. Back up front, you're going to find Hyundai's latest infotainment system. While it presents as one large screen, which is kind of typical of other EV models, you actually get two distinct screens, which is great, and I found it to be pretty responsive. I also like that it has wireless CarPlay, which was easy to connect to. You can also use the USB port to connect if that's your preference. It's really nice that there are also a lot of hard buttons and knobs to make your various adjustments, including climate, which we really love. I also really liked that the hard buttons have words on them, so it's easy to know what they are. So there's not a lot of guesswork while you're driving to make the choices that you need to. But the gear selector is in kind of a weird spot. Personally, I'm not a fan of having it here on the column. I also found that when I was parking or trying to pull out of my garage and I'm moving the steering wheel around, it would sometimes obstruct my view of the gear selector, so it was hard to make those quick gear changes. Of course, we'll do a full usability test, so come back for the results in our road test. The last thing we'll talk about inside the car is storage space. Usually, I really like all the extra pockets and bins that Hyundai gives you. They're really convenient. And you would think with extra interior room this time, you would get more of that. But that's not really the case. You have a spot here to keep your phone, which is nice. Over here in the middle, there are two cup holders that you can pop out if you need to use them. But otherwise, it's just a really big, unstructured open bin where things can slide around a lot. Where you would normally have your nice center console compartment, and a covered console compartment at that, you do have this open bin where, again, you can stash a lot, but it can also move around a lot while you're driving. Underneath the armrest is this tiny little tray that gets covered where you can fit Kleenex, chapstick, and maybe the keys. But that's about it, so it's not particularly useful. As far as safety systems goes, the Kona EV comes with standard advanced driver assistance systems across all trim lines. This includes automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, adaptive cruise control, and blind spot warning. We're excited to see that this model year 24 has rear seat safety features like a rear belt minder and advanced seatbelt technology like pre-tensioners and load limiters for rear outboard passengers. This Kona also comes equipped with a rear occupant alert that will tell you to check the back seats at the end of your trip. So that's our early review of the 2024 Hyundai Kona Electric. Be sure to check back at cr.org for our full road test results when we complete all of our testing.